All right, so 800-259-9231. We continue with your phone calls. Then coming up, another talk show host is on the attack against libertarians. We'll explain. It's because of the whole Ron Paul situation. But first, we'll talk to Benjamin, listening in California. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Benjamin.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to thank the Free State Project and the other liberty activists out there for inspiring me and my brother. We are members of the Free State Project, but for various reasons, we can't make it out there for another year or two.
Okay.
And when the whole We Won't Fly campaign started, we really got on board with that. We wanted to start doing activism. We got that little bug in us.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is that there really wasn't an activist community in this area. There weren't a lot of liberty lovers.
Where are you in California?
We live about an hour north of Sacramento.
Okay.
So we couldn't find anything around here. And when we did stuff out there at the Sacramento airport, there was only a couple of us.
Gotcha.
And so I know,
it's disheartening.
And I know Ian, you'll tell us to wait till we get to New Hampshire to really start doing activism, and I agree with that because there's a nice base of support there. But we feel like we should do something now. We should plant some seeds of liberty here that can foster and grow once we leave. And so we've been getting out there and doing some stuff. Right now we're concentrating on kind of populist issues, like red flex red light cameras. And after we're done doing some of that, we're going to move on to DHS partnership with Walmart, and then we're going to start doing some jury outreach and stuff like that.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, if you're taking a safe route, then that makes more sense.
We are playing it fairly safe. We have cameras and audio recorders, which, by the way, have come in handy because we've had interactions with the police already.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's never a safe route as far as being an activist. There are some things that are safer than others, but anytime you're out there sticking your head above the water, taking a position that is contrary to the status quo, there is the chance that the people in the status quo will be upset and will send their armed agents after you. And you're right, it's a smart move to have a video camera, an audio recording device, or both on you, or more than that, on you at any given time when you're out doing things. Even something as benign and as seemingly normal and acceptable as outreach, as we've seen recently. People doing fully informed jury activism in Florida are now being threatened with felony arrests for doing so in the Orlando area at the courthouse there, where it's been banned from a full 4-city block swath. So the people in power take this stuff pretty seriously.
Well, in our latest outreach, we were doing something as benign as holding signs underneath one of the red light cameras. And
that's not benign, sir. You're threatening their revenue.
But we were just standing there. We weren't, doing anything. And we had a gentleman come up and tell us, and we were wearing Guy Fawkes masks because we were trying to get attention. So we were doing that. But we were just standing there, and we had someone come to us and tell us that there was a bank behind us. We were separated by a fence. We didn't even know there was a bank there because it was facing the opposite direction. And when we brought our cameras out, he physically forced them out of our hands, and he took them from us.
Whoa, who was this?
Yeah. Now, see, that's the thing. We're new to this to a little bit, and while we've learned a lot from the liberty community and watching the videos and seeing how other people handle stuff, when you get into that moment, you get flustered.
Sure you do.
So he acted like he was a law enforcement officer in plain clothes, but he was wearing a windbreaker with a police insignia on it. So I failed to get his name and his badge number before he vanished, basically. He ran off.
Did he take your cameras?
Well, what happened is he took our cameras because we were recording them. He frisked us, something I've never had happen to me in my entire life.
Wow.
Then he berated us about, you shouldn't wear a mask near a bank, basically. Luckily for us, we use Quick.
That's QIK.com. It's a way to stream from your cell phone, your smartphone, stream audio and video.
To me, it's an invaluable tool.
Absolutely.
It is.
It's one of the most, I think, important advances for activism that we've seen in the last decade.
But the guy never identified himself as an officer? He essentially mugged you.
He strongly implied that he was an officer. Well, here's what happened. Luckily, normally I would turn the phone off to lock it to prevent them having access to my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he took it, I didn't have a chance to do that. But he put it into his pocket, so we have all of the audio of what happened.
Oh wow!
And so he continued recording, after he basically decided to let us go, he gave us back our phones. And because he kept trying to, he's going to educate us.
Yeah.
And tell us how it's done and how we're supposed to act with an officer. But I insisted on telling him that was our property in the state of California. If you're in public, there's almost no circumstance under which you can't be recorded. Mm-hmm. There's no expectation of privacy. And he tells us that the reason he took our phones was because they could have been guns.
I took your phone because I could. And I could tell you any kind of stupid story, and you have to accept it.
Well, and what makes it even more stupid and obvious that he didn't even think that when he took our phones away is that at the very beginning of the encounter, he starts telling us to put our phones away. Now, he didn't tell us to put our guns away. He said put our phones away. And he only took them after we refused to put them away.
Yeah.
The camera's the new gun.
Yeah,
if he thought we actually had guns, he would have had a gun drawn and been proning us out. He wouldn't have asked us to put them away, please.
Then how stupid would that have looked on video? I mean, it was dumb enough for him to say that, but it would have looked even more dumb for him to pull his gun out and hold two men at gunpoint for holding on to video cameras.
Indeed.
So I'm glad that you ended up getting your stuff back in that particular case. And, like you said, when the pressure's on, it's difficult to say the right things or to ask the right questions. And, man, I've done it a bunch of times, and I still botch it up. So it's tough, and it certainly helps to have other people. I'm glad you had your friend there. At the very least, there were two of you rather than just you going it alone. That certainly helps.
Absolutely. Well, and, luckily we got our stuff back, and, we went back to doing our outreach. We did file a police report afterwards, just so there's a paper trail, not because we actually think they're going to do anything. But I will say that the local police, because this is not in our hometown, but the local police were kind of shocked by what had happened, and I don't know.
Now, did you get this guy's? You got this guy's face on video, right? So you could ask them, "Hey, is this one of your agents?"
We don't have his face on video, but we are planning on going back and finding this guy because we're pretty sure he must have just been a rent-a-cop for the bank.
Maybe. Who knows?
And or an off-duty police officer.
How old are you guys?
I'm 25. Actually, my birthday's here in a little bit, so I'll be 26. And my brother's 23.
Usually these guys they'll push their weight around with younger guys is what they do. I mean, it's just a natural fact of life that the older you are, the more you hate young guys when you're male.
Mall cop, especially young slim guys.
Yep. That's I suspect you're probably right. He probably was a rent-a-cop for the bank.
Who knows?
Yeah,
there's
that's
no evidence.
Our best guess.
All right, well, thanks
we're going to find out.
Thanks for the story tonight. And one of the other things that folks, and thank you for the call, and certainly let us know if you have any more interesting encounters. Good luck out there with the activism prior to getting to New Hampshire. It's good to get your feet wet. I'm not opposed to it. Just understand the risks you're running. You're running the risk is that if something does happen, if that cop tackles you and hurts you and arrests you, then you just don't have the same backup system.
Not even close.
That is risky. 800-259-9231, but nobody ever got anywhere who didn't take risk first. More coming up. You take control. This is Free Talk Live.